Hey guys, this is Forest Games, and back to your reaction to RWBY World of Remnant, Volume 4. This is the Great War, and oh man, I cannot wait for this one. This is something I've been asking ever since it was pretty much mentioned. Like, what was the Great War? What the heck was it about? Like, it's been a mystery to me for some time. Hopefully Crow can explain things here, or maybe not, considering his position as of right now, but you never know. Let's go. The Great War. Here we go.
The Great War. What a terrible name for such a horrible time in history.
Who are you? And what have you done to Crow?
Though the war itself lasted around 10 years, a century leading
It sounds like Crow, but at the same time, it doesn't sound like Crow.
Together. And most of that tension was coming from Mistral.
It's Crow. I mean, whatever.
Territories rich
Just
with resources.
A bit
safe
deep
from Grim have always
voice for some reason.
But the Emperor of Mistral had managed to conquer nearly all that Anima had to offer. Thanks in part to an unlikely friend, Mantle. The two kingdoms had formed an alliance. Mistral provided the small kingdom with goods unavailable in the frozen tundra. In return, Mantle introduced technological innovation as well as guidance in the settlement of Anima's cold northern territory.
Fair enough.
It was good, until it wasn't.
No.
An incident in Mantle led to a strange and unexpected decree. The abolishment of the arts and repression of self-expression. The people of Mantle had come to believe that they would be much safer from the Grim if they could simply keep the emotions of the masses in check.
Okay.
Given Mistral's strong, artistic culture, many assumed this would be the end of their alliance. But they were wrong. Mistral complied, selectively, enforcing Mantle's wishes only in the outer territories, allowing the centralized powers to continue to live as they please. If you haven't caught on yet, Mistral's full of jerks.
Yeah, definitely.
People of Vale had a problem with this. Well, they had a problem with a lot of things Mistral and Mantle had been up to. Treatment of their citizens, use of slave labor, and their constant insistence that their way of life was what was best for everyone. Eventually, Mistral made the jump across the sea to the eastern coast of Samos.
Oh dear.
Small islands and peninsulas in the area were perfect to establish a settlement. They were so perfect, in fact, that Vale had just begun settling the area themselves. I think we can all guess what happened next. The King of Vale did everything he could to avoid armed conflict. Despite cries from his people, he insisted on sharing the land with the settlers from Mistral.
This ain't gonna end well.
To this day, no one knows who shot first.
Oh.
But what began as a riot between the two bands of settlers had suddenly become the first battle of the Great War. Mantle quickly came to Mistral's side. Battles were fought on both Samos and Anima soil. Villages were lost to both combat and Grim. And it wasn't long before Vacuo decided to join the party.
Oh yeah. On the side of Vale.
Up to this point, Vacuo had done its best to stay out of the fight. Mantle and Mistral, having both already established a small presence in Vacuo territory years before, promised to leave them provided they didn't interfere. Soon, those talks evolved. It went from don't side with them to side with us and you'll be safe.
Oh.
Vacuo did not much care for that.
Oh no.
Came to the conclusion that if Vale were to fall, there'd be no one left to stop Mistral and Mantle from conquering them next. So they did what they considered to be the logical thing. They drove Mantle and Mistral out of Vacuo and told Vale that it had their backs.
Nice.
I love their style.
Me too. That's pretty awesome, I won't lie.
Grim attacks increased worldwide.
Uh,
Battlefield, this meant a temporary ceasefire in order to deal with the hordes of monsters before returning to the fight at hand. Those left miserable back at home, however, were often helpless with their best warriors away fighting the good.
oh, yeah. That's terrible.
Lost during these years, and most were never reclaimed. Rations on food and dust were put into effect. Development of technology accelerated. Humans and faunas who fought alongside one another became closer. Every day, mankind grew more and more efficient at destroying itself. But it all ended in the Vacuo campaign. Mistral and Mantle knew that if they could take the dust mines of Vacuo, they would effectively cut off the supply of dust to their enemy. It was to be a final devastating blow.
Logical, but something tells me this ain't gonna work.
They were only half right. The King of Vale personally led his army into battle alongside the soldiers of Vacuo.
Nice.
Decimated the enemy forces.
Decimated them.
His head and armed only with a sword and a scepter, he laid waste to countless men. As the sand was soaked red with blood, the Grim came in droves. It was the single deadliest battle of the war, and legends of the greatness and terror of the warrior king were born that day.
The Warrior King.
Historians will tell you most of these stories are nothing but grandiose hyperbole. Unusually violent weather conditions combined with Mantle's unfamiliarity with the desert combat are likely what led to such a high death count. But whatever the reasoning, everyone bowed to the King of Vale by the time it was over.
Nice.
The Great War had ended. The world was ready to live under the rule of Vale. But the king refused. The leaders of the four kingdoms met on the island of Vital, and it was there
Vital.
they worked together to form a treaty
Okay,
to
yeah.
establish the future of Remnant.
Okay.
Territories were redistributed, slavery was abolished, governments restructured, and the warrior king, the last king Vale would ever have, founded the Huntsman Academies and placed his most trusted followers in command of each kingdom's school.
Nice.
He would teach the world to fight so long as we promised to fight for ourselves, and never against ourselves.
Wise decision.
Seems like we haven't kept our end of the bargain.
Yeah. Things are just getting more and more out of hand as of lately. And that goes without saying in the least. And oh man, that was awesome. Favorite World of Remnant video yet. It talks about something I've been wanting to know for quite a while, and it did it. Thank you, Crow. You did awesome. Oh man, but man, the King of Vital. I mean, the King of Vale was awesome. he decimated he and his forces decimated Mantle and oh man, and Mistral. And Vacuo was just like, yo, got your back, man. It's kind of like, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to compare it to one of the other wars, but all I can really think of is the American Revolution when French were kind of like staying neutral, and all of a sudden, well, America's winning, let's go join them. But that's not really what happened in here. But oh man, wish I knew more wars. But yeah, that's really all I got. So yeah, here we go. That was the Great War. I sure enjoyed it, as I do with all wars in history class. Until next time, guys. See ya.